As COVID chaos continues, this time in Queensland, it's a Super Sunday with 5 games on today. Our man Damo has the latest on what it all means for the rest of the season. Plus, what really happened at Hawthorn?
I'm going to continue on and do this role until the end of next year.
Oh yeah, we'll take a closer look at Clarko's early exit. Meanwhile, as our Aussies put on a show in Tokyo, the Eagles were lucky to get silver, with the young Pies dominating from the starter's gun. Trent Bianco will join us live to reveal all about life under halves. And it was a flawless routine from the Dogs over Adelaide, out of the gates clean and winning by more than a few lengths in Ballarat. Despite a noble effort from the Roos, Geelong lock in second spot on our medal tally. Milestone man Shaun Higgins joins us live to look at game number 250. Well, the Blues Brothers were on a mission.
We're on a mission from God.
Charlie joining brother Ed on field for the first time in more than 700 days. We're out of the pool and onto the track while Kane is trying out for the Boomers. It's the all powerful, the all conquering Sunday Footy Show.
Well done. I tell you, we are out of the blocks this morning. That opener, I think, has set the tone for the entire show. And it took you back to your disco days, Bill.
Oh, Cat's Disco, did we do some good work there?
You and Baz?
Me and Baz Stone. I used to go out with him because unattractive Baz, and I was a good-looking one.
You were the lure.
Yeah.
And where was Buddha in this?
Oh, no. You get the drinks, Buddha.
Okay.
I hope he's not watching.
Well, as we said, geez, you've changed your tone after about 10 minutes ago.
We'll tell that story later, will we?
I'll tell the story. No, I'll tell it now.
Okay.
We set him up by saying I'm not here next Sunday and Kane's hosting.
Yeah.
How would you describe his demeanour?
He admitted that I was raging inside.
And you know what he
I
did?
said, where are you going? I said, you're going away. And I said, that's great.
And he got the phone. Luca, I'm available next week.
Anyway, anyway, oh, you were.
Yeah.
Anyway, I am here next week, but Kane, if I'm not here, you're the man for the job. Good morning.
Good morning to you, TJ. So when I'm in Adelaide, Lucy does my makeup, and she did my makeup this morning, and I had to take a second look when I noticed what she was wearing. So if we can have a look at this, because Lucy slept with Billy Brownless last night. It was disturbing. That was the T-shirt she rolled with. So,
no.
Bill, get your hands off her, please.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
No, what she's sick of? Sleeping with a skeleton.
Gone from one extreme to the other.
Gone to Fatty Boomba.
Yeah. Okay, let's just remind we're actually on. Okay, so
Well, talk to Kane, will you?
yeah. Okay. Well, Kane, good morning. And when do you get back in the studio here in Melbourne?
I'll be back there. So Orange Zone now. You're going to actually let the South Australians in, which is nice, of Dan Andrews and the Victorians. So looking forward to seeing you all and giving you a big hug and a kiss, TJ.
Yeah.
I don't know what Kane's
human with
doing.
the makeup,
Yeah, he
too,
does
He looks
actually
good.
good
Yeah,
makeup
I think
job.
Lucy does a good
Lucy
job.
should do it more often.
Hey, Tone, August the 1st, Horse's birthday today. So happy birthday to all the horses that watch the show, especially Mr. Pickwick, which won at the Valley yesterday, $24. You beauty, well done to you. Betting responsibly, Tone.
Yeah.
How do you reckon we're going?
No, when you said get to me early, is that it?
That's it. It's Horse's birthday.
But that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I've got something else to come back with.
Oh, okay, all right. Now, let's keep the hilarity going now. Damian Barrett joins us, of course.
Well, TJ, I've heard that on top of your beautiful performance there at the opener, that you are very excited about your What Caught My Eye offering, and that you may even be out of your chair to deliver it today.
I've actually taken off the desert boots and put real shoes on today because I am going over to the plasma to deliver What Caught My Eye today. That's how confident.
Who
How you going there,
TJ was very nervous this time last week, and I'm very nervous this time because last week a lady by the name of Cheryl, who TJ went to school with and went on date with, gave us some photos from year 8 to 9. It's fair to say he was stung by a few bees.
Had the wisdom teeth out.
Didn't buy her a drink.
No, he didn't buy her a week drink. So anyway, he's going to respond hard. I've got mates who have been reaching out to me saying, I had Tony Jones through contacts say, have you got anything of audio, photos and all that?
Well, what's that bloke's name?
Sean.
Sean? Mate? Shh, just be quiet, please. Fitzy and I are working on something.
And Sean said, no, I can't do it to you. So let's see what you got later on.
That's all right. Well, my people are digging as we speak. And Nathan's here too. All right, let's have a look at the... you got anything?
Back in 2018, you went with West Coasters just making up the numbers, TJ. I think you're safe to go with that again. Do you want to go with it again? Because they came back and beat you.
I'm not going with it again. No, what I said was back then that it would be a wasted spot if they were to make the grand final.
Sounds better, yeah.
Yeah. and what happened that year?
They won the grand final.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm not revisiting that. All right, let's take a look at the results so far. What Bill?
Well, we saw this during the week before the results. No, there they are. Go.
I'll do this first. Then Carlton, what a win and what a response against St Kilda. The Western Bulldogs just keep on keeping on. They're on top of the ladder. The Cats just did what they had to do, Bill. And Collingwood, well, they put serious doubt on West Coast, even potentially making the finals or struggling to win a final. Sorry, Kano, I've done all four.
You want to do the ladder first, Bill? Let's go to the ladder because the Western Bulldogs are still on top with the Cats. Now, there's some size to play today, as we know, but all the action's happening at the bottom half of the 8. The Giants, and then we go to the bottom half and the bottom 10. Carlton are making a move. They'd have beaten North Melbourne last week. Carlton would be in the 8 at the moment. You got the Tigers in there as well, the Dockers, the Saints, all the way down to North Melbourne. Playing some very good football, North Melbourne, for a side that's on the bottom of the ladder.
They are. You know you've played North Melbourne. Now, before we go to Damo, and he's got Super Sunday, but we saw this during the week. Hutchie, of course, with a beautiful trick shot in the office. This was fantastic, Craig Hutchison. Bang, from a long way out. So who do you reckon would have a crack at that on this panel? There it is from behind. Bang, straight into the goals there. Who would try it on this panel? Who's super competitive and reckons he could do it? Here he is here. Look, he's had 15 goes at it the other night, and he made everyone hang around so they could watch him. Another go there, no good. And then he has another go and he breaks the blinds here. Have a look at this. Oh, come on. Lord. After dark, Lordo.
If Hutchie was willing to do the work, he could have been all right. At pre-season, he wasn't going to.
What happened to you?
Not me. I don't know.
Hang on, what do you mean willing to do the work?
But if
He's skillful.
Do you reckon Hutchie's going to run the tan and run up some hills and work?
He could lap himself.
Damo, Super Sunday.
Yeah, Bill, massive day of high drama yesterday with the AFL having to move 3 games out of the Gold Coast and Brisbane region for a lockdown in that particular state after a breakout of COVID-19. So this is how Sunday now looks, Bill. There's a double-header at Marvel Stadium beginning not long after we come off air with Gold Coast and Melbourne, and then GWS and Port Adelaide. The AFL had to get the 2 Sydney teams as well as Gold Coast and Essendon out of Queensland, and 2 charter flights were used to bring them down. It's going to have an impact, TJ, on how round 21 looks as well, because as we speak and as it's been scheduled, there's this is just some of the drama that did unfold yesterday. Melbourne...
so what happened?
Well, Melbourne was flew into Queensland for a game against the Gold Coast and then came back. It took them about 10 hours to...
But they were going to Perth too,
They were at one stage, once they touched down in Queensland. We're going to go to Perth as well. Then came back to Melbourne. Massive drama there just throughout the whole day, and given there's now 3 rounds left. Now, that Western Bulldogs Essendon game on Friday night, that is going to pose a problem for the 5-day break component that Essendon is now going to suffer, given they're playing today. So, Bill, the Geelong game, Geelong GWS game, you can see it listed there for GMHBA Stadium. That now could be the Friday night game to kick off
Friday night? Wow.
But this is still with no fans, isn't it?
That would still be with no fans, yeah. One more week of at least more week of no fans in Victoria.
So even though, say, Essendon Bulldogs would be a great Friday night game, does the AFLPA still have that power to say that players will not do another 5-day break?
They're on record to this point. Now, it may be revisited and may be redressed, but to this point, they're only allowing each club to have 1 5-day break only. And even when the Bulldogs, about a month ago, Lordo, were happy to have a second 5-day break, the AFLPA came in over the top. So whether they've just going to take the view that we've only got 3 rounds to go beyond this one, do we just get the season away? But as we speak and as it stands, they will push back.
Why is the AFLPA being so obstructive here? I mean, surely in these times, everyone's got to bend a little.
Yeah, I would have thought so too, TJ. But they've taken the view that because the AFL increased the games from last year, back from 17 back to 22 matches, and not just that, but to them to be 20-minute quarters plus the time on, that was going to be a non-negotiable, and it's been non-negotiable to this point.
When the rest of the world is negotiated for everything.
Yeah. They will argue they are the greatest prize in the whole scheme of things, and yes, let's face it, they are. And they've put the show on for 20 rounds, or 5 games short of a full 20 rounds at this point, and they'll argue that that's the way it's going to be. But again, all these discussions could well be taking place as a result, just to get these remaining 3 rounds away.
I know things change by the hour in this game or by the minute, but for the final series, do you think the AFL in a perfect world will have teams travel, depending on who, if it's a Adelaide finishes second, Port Adelaide, those sorts of things, or could you see it potentially being in one state?
I can see it being in one state,
And that
potentially.
state could be Victoria?
It could be Victoria, Bill. The way
A hub in Melbourne?
It could well be the case, but again, if West Coast continues to hold its spot, which is outside the home final allowance for them at this stage, given their seventh on ladder, that there may not be the need to go to Perth anyway.
But 5 non-Victorian clubs, as it stands at the moment, if there were finals, and I don't know how they'd cop.
Potentially, TJ. It's just the need to quarantine before and after a game that is causing the most problems.
OK, one of those non-Victorian clubs is the West Coast Eagles, really fighting now to stay in finals contention. What the hell happened there?
They were very ordinary yesterday, TJ. Now, they had 3 more inside 50s, the West Coast Eagles. That man there, 300th game, they didn't come to play for him, but 3 more inside 50s, and the Pies at one stage were 57 points up. And the alarming thing was how easily West Coast allowed Collingwood through the middle of the ground. There was just no pressure. They were using the ball really well. Shannon Hearn, they let him down yesterday, 300 games. He's been a superstar, Shannon Hearn, from the moment he went in, one of the best kicks in the competition. But West Coast at the moment, they're playing like they were in the hub last year when there were a lot of excuses going around. But Collingwood, to their credit yesterday, were fantastic.
That's right, Brownie. We'll get to some of their stuff. Lordy's going to take a good look at them. But what a ordinary performance it was. And they've had some bad ones this year, the Eagles, but you mentioned their premiership captain, the first 300-game player. This is what they allowed Collingwood to do. They allowed them to take 167 marks, the most in any AFL game, 460 disposals at 83%. Lack of pressure. The Eagles only laid 32 tackles, as you said. So 7 of the top 10 disposal winners were all Collingwood players. So just that effort that West Coast failed to bring was quite alarming.
Yeah, Kane, you're spot on. 32 tackles, and it led to this. So you look at it, Collingwood were brilliant, and well done to Robert Harvey and the way they've started to attack the game. So this is Jack Cripps. If you don't apply any pressure at the source, you get the run, the overlap. And what it does is it throws out your whole defence who like to zone in this modern game. So you look at it, you ask how he gets out there. It's because the pressure was so poor at the source by the Eagles that you get this run, overlap, easy goals like that. This is the next one. Players were just popping up like this. John Noble.
So play on quick.
They would go sideways normally, but they're bold enough to young kids, McRae, and more run overlap and this. It's a full forward's dream when you can come out and do that, OK? Young kid kicks his first goal, Ginnivan. This one, then I'd say as a backman, start to adjust. When the ball's coming in like that, find a man, McGovern. Don't play your way all the time, which is loose. But he was let down by his team, and this is a big question mark on their game plan. You'd think he'd go forward on his right foot to Darling. They're going backwards. So I think where Adam Simpson won a premiership 4 years ago with a game style, but they are going backwards when everyone else is going quicker, and as a result, they are getting punished on the rebound. So they've got issues with their style, and they've got issues with their effort, TJ.
So, Lordo, you said well done to Robert Harvey.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it looks so simple, doesn't it? Just go straight down the corridor. So why wasn't Collingwood doing that
It's
earlier?
amazing, TJ. When you're a caretaker coach, you feel like you've got nothing to lose and you get the job and suddenly defensive mechanisms and all that. It's about getting that. That's why I love the Western Bulldogs, to be honest, because they go at you but also have a defensive mechanism. So it's about getting the balance right, which too many young coaches don't get in the game. That's probably why Teague's been criticised. He's gone the other way.
West Coast allowed them to do that yesterday.
They did. Yep.
Without taking too much away from Collingwood. See, I as a Collingwood supporter, I would love to see Robert Harvey get that job, but the likelihood of that, absolutely I would.
Yeah, the likelihood to me, TJ, is just not going to happen. The way I read it now that Sam Mitchell's been taken out of the equation is that it's going to be between Don Pike and Brad Scott as a starting point. There's obviously untried coaches in that mix as well, including Adam Uze and Kent and Adam Kingsley, but that's the way I read it right now, and I just don't see, unfortunately for Robert Harvey, figuring in it at all.
Where's Ross Lyon sitting all that, Damo?
I don't see him at Collingwood for what it's worth, Brownie.
TJ,
just the way I'm reading what I think is happening with what they're doing with that process.
The way Don Pike, I think going into Sydney and the way they're moving the ball, I think I wouldn't be surprised if he's coaching a club next year, and I know Kane's been strong on that as well.
They just can't win away, the West Coast Eagles. They've got a big problem there, and I think it all started last year in the hub when they didn't embrace the hub and playing away there. There's no doubt about that. This is their record away in 2021. 3 wins. The 3 wins have been Hawthorn, Adelaide, Carlton. Hawthorn, Adelaide, Carlton, and 6 losses, and there's some of the big losses. St Kilda, Geelong, Sydney by 90-odd points. Collingwood yesterday was a terrible loss. So if they're going to come here and play finals, big trouble for the West Coast Eagles.
All right, well, one of the potential stars of the future for the Collingwood Football Club is Trent Bianco, who will join us in just a tick. Trent Bianco. Now, before we get on to the other games, what an absolute debacle at Hawthorn. What an absolute embarrassment to themselves.
CJ, they couldn't have executed this plan any more shambolically than they did. From 3.5 weeks ago, when they made the public announcement that Sam Mitchell would take over in a succession plan from Alistair Clarkson. So they've effectively tarnished Alistair Clarkson's legacy at that footy club after 17 seasons. They couldn't have made it more difficult for Sam Mitchell to start the job, given it was already going to be a mountain of work anyway. And then you've also got the lying that went on throughout the whole course of events. And
I got sucked into it. I think we all got sucked into it. It's going to be a beautiful marriage.
Yeah.
It's what, a week later?
No, well, Damo and I were at that initial media conference.
So you didn't believe all that, what they said?
Well, I didn't believe it would go as pear-shaped as quickly as what it has, but it just didn't seem to have that feel about it.
They were married for a week.
Well, in sickness and in health, apparently.
Well, no, only for a week. And then Clarko, of course, he gets paid out. Nice payout, Lordo. Yeah. And then Sam Mitchell, he gets the house and the kids.
I felt it would result in what's happened this week.
Did that go better on Triple M when you did it yesterday?
I didn't actually work on Triple M either.
Shut up.
I'm surprised you went with the second time, Bill. But,
So, Damo, who hatches the plan, right, to put it out to the public the way it is? Because Hawthorn have always done things the right way. Hawthorn have always been up here in the upper echelon of clubs you look at and go, they handle their stuff well, but how have they stuffed this up so royally?
Basically, once Alistair Clarkson got the answer that he didn't want deep down, that is that he wouldn't be continuing in the initial plan beyond 2022, he just didn't want to be there. And he worked behind the scenes actively from that very moment, including this week, and he's almost out political Jeff on this whole matter, the way it's all played out. Because, as you said, Brownie, and as you acknowledged last week, Bill, that what Alistair Clarkson said last Friday, when he brought personal tragedy into his description of his contract being upheld by him, 3 days later, he's out.
So, Damien, you're saying at that time he's saying all that, he would deep down think that
He's forcing Hawthorn to do what they did.
So he's happy to say all that, even though he knew he might probably unlikely to coach.
Well, you either take him at his word and he stays and sees a contract out, or you don't believe a word he says. And ultimately, you can't believe anything that he said or Jeff Kennedy said.
Just waiting for the payout.
Waiting for the payout. He's now got the payout. And that's fine.
You could have done it. You know, Mick Malthouse did it beautifully at Carlton. You know, you could have done it in a more dignified manner, like Mick did.
Well, at least he was true to himself, I think, in the whole thing, in how he presented himself publicly. But Jeff Kennett's role in it, TJ, I mean, he talks about tenures and use-by dates of other people. He had his time at Hawthorn. Now, this is his response to Caroline Wilson's reporting of an aspect of this. And let me be very clear. This was a planned meeting. Our players knew it was going to take place. We like to be transparent at Hawthorn, and there'll be more of these meetings to plan our future. I just want to take a look at his situation. 2006 to 2011, taking in the 2008 flag. That was his first time as president. He then, obviously, time was up under the Constitution, took off from the footy club board. So he actually made that decision himself to not have a second term for a president. We then see him make various comments publicly, including one where he rang in, volunteered his views on Alistair Clarkson that he should step down in round 1 of 2013. Now, that was a season that started the 3 premierships in a row. He then, needs to be seen and heard and was then talked about and was actively getting himself involved in the leadership position at the Melbourne Football Club, making comments about that club being a rebel, saying he was going to do it. Makes comments again in 2017 that Clarkson's already been there a too long time, makes observations about Eddie Maguire being there longer than the Ark, and here he is again. So he overthrows Richard Garvey in 2017, saying the club was a complete mess. Was going to do 1 term, TJ, and then in February 2020 said, that will be my last year.
I'll tell you what, it's a fair assassination.
What are you getting at, Damon? It's time for him to go.
You get to August 2020.
Just say you don't like him.
You get to August 2020 and he says he's going around again for another 3 years.
What are you saying? What do you reckon this is all Kennett's fault, do you?
He has to follow.
Hang on, you reckon this is all Jeff Kennett's fault?
Absolutely, it's all Jeff Kennett's fault. And as such, because of what has happened and how poorly it's been handled, with the legacy that's been damaged on Alistair Clarkson, with the difficulty that he's created and made worse for Sam Mitchell, and the false promises and the false narratives and transparency claims.
Well, don't you reckon Sam Mitchell and Alistair Clarkson have played a hand in this?
Of course they have.
Well, so it's not all Jeff's fault.
But he's the one who's ultimately brought it to a head. It's on his watch, and Clarkson's walked out.
How could they have done this better? Should they have allowed for Sam Mitchell to go through the Collingwood process?
Yep.
Yeah, and if he gets the job, he gets
the job. If he got the job, he got the job. And if he didn't get the job, he comes back and learns.
Clarko coaches for 2 more years.
Kane's been sitting. Kane,
I can feel it.
We can come back to.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I know you've got more. You've got more. I hope Jeff's not watching, and I hope he's not watching the volcano either, because I suspect Kane has been sitting there just rumbling, ready to explode.
Yeah, well, Damo's done a lot of it, but just 9 days ago, Alistair Clarkson said this.
Now, we understood, of course, that there was going to be speculation. You know, will Clarkson move? What does it mean? I laugh at it in one way, because if they're saying that, they don't really know me well, and that's what I'm trying to portray today. I'll see through my commitment. I've always been that way. That's in sickness or in health for me. That's I'm going to continue on and do this role until the end of next year.
So he's got away with any criticism scot-free, Alistair Clarkson, because he's been smart enough to spin his way out of it. How he can then front the media 7 days later and say that he's decided to leave, it absolutely amazes me. And the way that he did spin it was that it was all in favour of the club. It was for Sam Mitchell's benefit. But can I just tell you how he's left the Hawthorn Football Club and Sam Mitchell if it was for his benefit? Well, he's left him with one of the worst lists in the competition, because Alistair Clarkson has traded away most of their picks. He's left them with a job that he wasn't ready to do. That was 12 months or 18 months down the track. And he's left them with a $900,000 hole in their soft cap, meaning that Sam Mitchell is going to be 2-3 coaches short, a doctor, a masseuse, a development manager at the Hawthorn Football Club. So I got a lot of sympathy for Sam Mitchell and what he's walking into, and I'm really disappointed that Alistair Clarkson could get up there for 13 minutes and plead with us to believe in that he's going to be there, and 7 days later he's not. So I think some criticism needs to be directed at Alistair Clarkson as well. He
may say, though, to you that they didn't want me and I have to look after myself in this situation. Well,
and he's only just realised that in 7 days, Lord.
No,
seven days ago, he pleaded with us to believe him.
Yeah, but there's clauses, in regards to the financial arrangement, isn't there, Damo, that if he just walked himself...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he wouldn't have got his money unless Hawthorn came to the arrangement.
So then don't spin it that it's for the benefit of the club. Say, I wanted to get my money. Give us that. And now he says that he's not sure whether he's going to coach again next year. Why would any of us believe that? You couldn't believe a word that he's saying.
But we're talking about poor Sam Mitchell here. I mean, he's sitting there, he'd be pumped that he's now the coach next year. To have a blank canvas, yes, there are some restrictions, but make no mistake, Sam Mitchell doesn't want Alistair Clarkson there next year being the overlord. He wants to coach his side and he's outright. But you know how confident Sam Mitchell is. He's pumped that this has happened and he wants to coach that footy club next year.
But how bad's their list? They're bottom of the ladder.
And he's going to be under a lot of pressure.
He is going to be under a lot of pressure.
The venom from the
members. But as confident as he is, he'll think that he can handle that.
Well,
and that's what Hawthorn are backing him in for.
I want to take aim at the boot starter, because he's the only one we haven't blamed in all this. So, Damo, we'll talk about him a little later on.
All right, let's get
they still have boot starters?
Yeah, they do.
They still have boot starters. Good. Hey, let's talk about some more football that transpired yesterday. And the Doggies, this was a good win over the Crows.
It was a very good win. Adelaide started the game okay. Conditions in Victoria today were very windy, particularly in Ballarat, and I thought the Dogs handled those conditions a lot better than what the Adelaide Crows. You couldn't discount the Adelaide's effort, though. Their effort was outstanding, but they were just classy, the Dogs, when it needed to be. They kicked 15 goals, 15 in really trying conditions, and just showed us how good of a side they are.
Oh, it was good down there. Mars Stadium in Ballarat, as you said, a local country feel, a vibe there. The horns were sounding. People were outside the fence barracking for the Dogs there. And also the horns, the lights, everything was going off, just like in the country. A lot of fans behind the fence. Look at him there. There he is there. And I think...
hang on.
What do you got, Bill?
I think Tone, our great man here, didn't want to pay to go into Mars Stadium. He was there with the Channel 9 crew. Let's have a look. There he is. Hutchie's there. And Stanners. Geez, you're in the crouch position there, Tone. Look at
Where's his dog?
Go the Dogs, Tone.
Can I tell you, the only thing wrong with that, Clint Stanaway would not be standing in the outer. Very much corporate, I would have thought, Clint Stanaway. But they're nicely...
Hutchie there, Bill?
Well, Hutchie went along because they were having some more trick shots at half time. And Lordo had to go till it got till 12 o'clock at night. Still couldn't do it, Lordo.
You want to tell us about the Cats?
Yeah, they were okay. They just went to Hobart. They had to get the points. They did that in the end, and it wasn't a great game. You won't get this one out in the video and have a look at it again. But danger was good. We see here Narkle around the corner now and kicks a goal there. Tomahawk kicked a nice goal in the last quarter. Here, look at this. This is a perfect set shot for him. He just brings it back beautifully. Good win. 10,000 people there. They said it was a sold-out crowd over in Hobart, which is great. But not one of the great games, but the Cats, they got the 4 points, brought them back, and they're equal top of the ladder now.
Yeah, no, it wasn't, Bill. There wasn't a lot of intensity in it. I do like the way North Melbourne are now defending, so I just wanted to highlight some of their numbers. From rounds 1 to 13, they were conceding 105 points. Now, since the bye, just 75. So they defended 62 inside 50s yesterday and kept Geelong to a reasonable score. And I just wanted to show one clip that highlights that. So this is the hardest thing to defend in football, a fast play turnover. So Phillips gives away a free kick here. Geelong are off. Just look at the effort for the North Melbourne players to work to force Geelong wide. You got one pressing, you got one covering the outlet, then you've got Hall pressing up and forcing them back and sideways, and you get Geelong eventually kicking the ball back, which gives North Melbourne the time to get back behind the ball. So I thought that was one example of how well North have improved their defence from the start of the year.
Nice. Kane, if you were tipping a premier right now, would it be Geelong or the Western Bulldogs?
Probably Geelong, Lordo.
They play so differently. It's a tough one. They play so differently, but they're in such good form.
I think the Dogs have used, 34 players? So Bevo's used them all, and they can play all forward, they can play all back, they can play in the middle. He'll throw them around, as we know. Someone.
No, I just got... Someone sent me through a photo of you, Bill. I've got to get it legal before we can actually show it. Sean Higgins, the Milestone man, will join us on the program a little later on. I'm going to be heading over there later on to do what caught my eye, but just keep it warm for me, Nath. Tell us about Carlton.
The Blues are getting excited. They're an opportunity to play finals, but Carlton are a conditional football side. Let's have a look at what they've done the last season and their average tackles the last season. They're averaging 48. So last week when Lordo and Kane got up here and showed how bad their defensive was, they laid 48 again. Half-time this week, they laid 51. That's why they're a conditional football side. They don't do it all the time. Let's have a look at what they did the other night to do that, and it was from the first couple of minutes. This is 1 goal to none. Have a look at this. This is Kennedy putting some pressure on, and this wasn't happening last week. Players were just stepping through their tackles. They get the first one out. Dow hits up, and they get their first goal from tackle pressure. Now this one. Have a look at the intent of these two guys here chasing after Zach Jones. This didn't happen last week. This would have just flowed out of the middle of the ground. They both get to him. They both wrap him up, and they win the football back in the end of it. So this happened. This is Jack Martin. Jack Martin was brilliant in the first quarter, and I thought he led the way. Look at how far he goes and the intent that he has to lay this tackle. That's one effort. This is the second effort. Jack Martin then gets up again for a third effort, but wait for it, another fourth effort. Give away free kicks, but that's intent. And again, out of the middle, this is Lockie Plowman. The intent to lay that tackle, they get the ball back. And again, this is Harry Mackay in the forward end. Doesn't mark this footy, doesn't actually get to the contest, but the tackle he lays to get the footy free from Highmore, they get the footy back, Sam Walsh kicks a goal. So now, with the review going on, this is a real problem for David Teague. Does he have a conditional side, or can he turn them into an unconditional side?
Oh,
very
conditional,
well, very
unconditional.
well.
See what he did there?
Yeah, I did. All right, now, with thanks to our very good friends at the Man Shake, you can have the Man Shake, you can have the Lady Shake, but in terms of the Man Shake, you can lose the belly without actually losing the beer. For a minute, I thought that said lose the billy without losing the beer, and I thought, I don't think so. But anyway, Man Shake, get on board. We'll talk more about that as the weeks go on.
Well, first, yes, I made a quick coach is good over there. Hey, we know about Lordo and his cricket. He loves his cricket. He loves to show off his cricket. This is what he did, and we've seen this before. He took a fifer, and he's playing against, I think this is 6th grade cricket down there. Stewie Lowson was playing. Have a look at Lordo there. This is a celebration. But Lordo, when you take 5 wickets, you've got to go with a full-on celebration. So let's have a look at how you do it in local cricket. So this guy gets his wicket. That is a horrendous ball, but then he takes off. Have a look at him, Harry Taylor style. But watch what he does. They've lost him. Where's he gone? The camera's on him.
Where's he gone, Bill?
He goes up to the commentary box and starts recording himself. That's what you should do.
Oh, that is fantastic. I was getting a bit excited about going over there, so I was just getting ready. Kane.
Yep. Hey, Bill, I'm not a big punter, but I got on one at the Gold Coast. I got on one at the Gold Coast yesterday, and it did not let me down.
Righto.
Chompers didn't make the bend well. He's coming right down the outside. Focus and Miss Hustle loomed up, 150 to go. Miss Hustle hit the lead from Focus. Chompers comes fast. Chompers over the top. Chompers
Yes, Chompers. So we had to. It didn't pay very much, obviously, because it was Chompers. But we had to reward the horse in the paddock after, and he loved it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Right, wait for it.
Here it is, Bill.
Right, waiting. Clean your teeth, Tone.
Chompers. Good stuff.
Now, TJ.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So. What I do when I get desperate at what caught my eye, I start scrolling the internet.
Yeah.
And I wrote Tony Jones down, and I come across an article that was written about you many, many years ago. I think it was talking about the Jones boy.
From Caroline Wilson.
From Caroline Wilson.
Wow.
And this was something that caught my eye. It said, many at the station believe he could do much more with an injection of ambition and self-confidence, right? Which was an issue for you. And never one to back down on a story. Caro, as we've known this week with Clarko, she had this to say.
Hey, Tony. I know we were only relative kids when I wrote that. You were only 34, but I still believe with an injection of ambition and self-confidence, you'll make it to number one.
That's a long time, though.
I did. So, yeah, Neil, she still believes in you. Yeah, I also hitch.
Hang on.
It's going to be good,
How
Tone.
old are you now?
No,
Well, 57.
Tone,
so
you're supposed to be at the
Long
plasma.
apprenticeship.
Yeah, I know. I'm walking over there.
Well,
yeah.
how are you going to throw
Well, I'm going to. Well, okay. Well, I'll go over there. Okay. So
23 years.
Yeah, righto. I can count. Thank you.
You're not going to be number one by throwing like this. You're supposed to be there now.
I'll tell you what I'll throw in a minute, Bill. It might only take one, but I'll do it. All right. So.
that'd be a good one.
Okay. So. Last week, Lordo stitched me up a beauty. He stitched me up an absolute classic by showing a couple of old school photos. So anyway, I trawled the internet myself, right? And I came across your hoity-toity days at your hoity-toity school. Mine was only one up from a reform school. This, of course, was St Bernard's, and they love the fact that Matthew went there.
Matthew Lloyd always displayed consistency and perseverance. But how did Matthew's formative years at St Bernard's prepare him for an illustrious AFL career that lay ahead?
Oh, well, there you go. So that set the scene for this beautiful Facebook tribute to their former student in Matthew Lloyd.
Luminite.
Now, that's the word I was thinking of, but I didn't know if it was the right one. We didn't have those at my school. So I thought to myself, I've copped it here for creepy Tony with Elliot Burson and all that sort of stuff. You want creepiness? Have a look at Matthew.
Some obstacles I overcame at St Bernard's was just dealing with what every other child would, I suppose. We used to hang out with all the St Columba's girls as well, just down the road in Essendon.
Oh, really? You used to hang out with all the St Columba's girls, did we?
Creepy.
The editing there.
Well, no, I'm sorry. You said that,
right.
Matthew.
Yeah,
you said that.
You did say that.
Anyway, then the video goes on and on. Matthew just talking about how good Matthew is. And then it ends with this particular thing here. Now, this says here, throughout his stellar AFL career with the Essendon Football Club, Matthew Lloyd never forgot his humble beginnings. Let's have a look at Matthew's humble beginnings and how he hasn't forgotten them. Here's an example of Matthew Lloyd and his humble beginnings. Let's have another look at Matthew Lloyd and his humble beginnings. Here's another one of Matthew Lloyd never forgetting his humble beginnings. There's another one. Matthew Lloyd never forgetting his humble. There's another one. Never forgetting. Mate, I know.
Mercedes-Benz Berwick.
I know that St Bernard's were there to actually go and rescue in European winters and the like. They need to send one out and look for your humility, Matthew, because it's gone missing.
Not bad.
You think you're a sex symbol, don't you? You said that.
Not another one, is it?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that's what you think you are. You think you're a Tom Cruise lookalike.
He does. Now stay there,
He's a
Tone.
bit rattled at the moment.
Stay there, Tone, because have we got something for you here? Because we all love Olympic mascots, okay? Which we'll go back to London. Let's have a look at the London Olympic mascot here. It's Wenlock and Mandeville there. They're fantastic. And then, of course, Rio, that's Vincius and Tom. And then we go to Tokyo 2020, Miratoa and Somedy or interesting mascots. But anyway, I tell you what we got here today. We got breaking news here on the Sunday Footy Show. Yeah. This is a exclusive, and we need a jellyfish for this, because I am going to introduce the mascot for the 2032 Brisbane Games, and it is TJ. Where's TJ? Coming through the unique wrought iron doors. Here is the mascot for the 2032 Brisbane Games. Come on, TJ. TJ, come and meet TJ. TJ, it's hard. I know it's hard to move. And there it is there. Well done. There's the mascot. Brisbane 2032. Good on you. That is TJ. Well done, righto, TJ. Just move out of the road a little bit, yeah. But we do have, on a serious note, Tony, this is serious. That's TJ, the mascot. Yep. But this is Matt, and he is a dentist. And we're not allowed to show his face.
You can show my face.
Oh, we can. This is Matt. He's a dentist, and it is, can you believe it, Dental Health Week, Tony.
Is it?
Yes. And we got Matt here. You're a dentist, aren't you?
I am, Billy, thanks.
Mad Hawthorn fan?
Mad Hawthorn fan. Look, it's been a tough year for us at the Hawks. I was there at round one when we did have a win over Essendon, so it's been, up and down a little bit. But I think, for Dental Health Week, it is really important that we focus on the importance of a great smile.
Well, don't point at me.
Look at everyone with a great smile. Lloydie with a wonderful smile.
Hang on, have you seen Nathan?
He's got
Nathan's smile.
And look, it's really important because a healthy smile is so important for us all. We all want to have nice chompers like this, and whether it's the work that we do with some of our great partners, the Evident Foundation, and some of our great ambassadors like Jack Viney from the Melbourne Football Club, who's got a wonderful smile as well, out there promoting mouth guards. The importance of really healthy eating, so cutting down on the sugar and healthy food. Sugar is creating a lot of problems for our young kids, so we really want to focus on those important things, and obviously getting along to see the dentist is really critical at the moment.
Yeah. All right, Matt, we just said you got 30 seconds. When should you brush your teeth, morning or night?
Both. So absolutely both. So after breakfast in the morning, last thing before you go to bed at night, best way to look after your teeth, so that you get that nice healthy smile.
Yeah, good.
Why have you never looked at TJ as your ambassador?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we've got Frank here, so, we've already got probably the world's best ambassador here for us.
Who's inside? Is that Braden Ingram?
That's it. That's your wife, Matt, inside that.
It is.
All righty. Okay.
Well, that's a surprise for you.
It was like pulling teeth there for a moment. All right. Okay, we're going to take a break. You are watching the Sunday Footy Show. Teeth and all. We'll be back soon. Welcome back. You're watching the Sunday Footy Show. Lord, I think we're getting to that period. Nathan's had a really good first half hour. Yeah. And now I think we see that sort of like
No, I've got the quiz. And then I take a little bit.
No, not today. What haven't you got? Fright night?
Yeah, and the quiz, Fright night's later.
I know
because they know that I have a bit of a down patch, second 3 and 4, and then I'll launch back into Fright night, where we've done an exclusive on the dark side of Damian Barrett.
Ooh, how long does that go for?
It's a long dark side.
Okay. I tell you what, it was bright skies over the MCG yesterday, and for Collingwood fans, unfortunately you weren't there to enjoy it, but just sitting back and watching this unfold was just beautiful.
TJ, they absolutely destroyed them. 4 goals to 0 in the first quarter, 10 goals to 1 by half-time, and a 45-point margin. Flattered the West Coast Eagles, and one of the young stars of the Collingwood Football Club, and one of the real positives this year has been Trent Bianco, who joins us. Thanks for joining us, Trent. But I first want to touch on your history. It's amazing. Not many get to play for the club they idolised and grew up loving. And I want to show a photo of you as a young boy and talk us through the time you ran out with your heroes and now what you've achieved this year.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys, first of all. But, looking back on it, probably 10, 11 years ago, that was just my dream to play for the Pies. And 2 years ago, it was a dream come true. So, I'm loving every bit.
Good on you.
Yeah, amazing story. And this year, you've made great inroads. I think the inclusion of the kids has been a big positive for Collingwood this year. And that win yesterday, Trent, talk us through that start, because you were all over West Coast and you exposed them. Your ball movement was exceptional. I thought your skill level was a big improvement on what we'd seen against Port, where you were trying to do this, but you were turning the footy over.
Yeah, definitely. Yesterday's performance was something that's been brewing for the last few weeks, but we just managed to have pretty much a full fourth quarter performance, and it showed yesterday.
taking a look at some of your highlights as well. 10 games for the year. You had 15 yesterday. You took a year to get your opportunity into the side, but the way Collingwood are playing seems to suit your game style perfectly, Trent.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as you said, last year was a bit of a different year, being in the hub and hard to crack into the side. But yeah, once this year come around, I knew I was going to be a good chance. I've had a good pre-season and played a few decent VFL games and yeah, managed to find my way in. But yeah, like you said, yeah, last few weeks especially, we've all been so unselfish and it's just making it really enjoyable out there.
Trent, has there been a clear instruction to go more through the middle since Robert Harvey's taken over? Because I feel like you've been doing it, but yesterday you busted the game open through there.
Yeah. We've just been told just to express ourselves a bit. If we see something, just hit it. And yeah, it's definitely, it cracks defences.
And Trent, being the Collingwood supporter you clearly were as a kid, idolising so many greats, now playing with a couple of them, and one yesterday, still side bottom, was very dominant, back to his best, was involved in nearly half the scores that Collingwood managed for the day. Just take us through his role yesterday and the impact that he's having on you as you start your career, please.
Yeah, obviously with Pendles going down, we still had a bit more time inside, which was nice, and it showed he was back to his very best. So yeah, it was good seeing a few balls inside 50 from him.
So Trent, how do you maintain your level-headedness? I mean, you obviously got a good family around you and that type of thing. So what do you do away from the football club to keep yourself sort of grounded?
Well, I started a uni course this year just to keep me a bit busy, and I also have a little bit of a clothing business on the side that I started a few years ago, but I just try and keep busy. So, yeah.
Oh, well, you should have a talk to Nathan Brown. He's very successful in the rag trade there, weren't you?
Yeah.
It didn't go that well.
Are you still a waiter at your family business there, Lazy Mo's?
No, not required anymore, which is pleasing a little bit. But no, I do try and go down and help out if I'm needed. But no, they're pretty covered at the moment.
What should I order if I go into Lazy Mo's there in Oakley?
Yeah.
The chicken parmas are pretty decent size, so I'm sure you'd have a nice crack at one of them.
And Trent, you've got the Lazy Mo happening up the top there. That's all part of the marketing, is it?
Yeah, it's all part of it.
Trent, talk us through the form of Jordan De Goey, because it's been a phenomenal 6 weeks from him. Do you think his future is more so a midfielder than that forward as we've known him as?
Yeah, I think so. It's nice playing up forward and watching him do his thing up the ground. He just looks so dominant and just so powerful in the contest, and yeah, it's really good to watch.
Trent, how have you found Robert Harvey's time as interim coach of the club? Obviously taking over in unusual circumstances, but what's he meant to you to this point?
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's very caring, gets around to everyone. Yeah, he just finds time for people, and yeah, as you can see, we're doing a good job with him on the field. We've had a few tight losses, but reasonably we're going relatively well.
Yeah, Trent, you'll be pleased to know this is almost over, mate. So we've got some prizes for you, but it must be daunting for you being on the Sunday Footy Show and being quizzed by some of the biggest names in football. Damian Barrett, of course.
It must be Trent.
Nah, it's all good. I enjoy this sort of stuff.
Well, Trent, all your teammates are in the votes. You were brilliant yesterday, one of the Collingwood's best performances of the year. De Goey gets a 9, Crisp 8. Braden Maynard, they'd want to hope he signs. I think he's waiting on the new coach, they're saying. And Taylor Adams is absolutely brilliant.
No side bottom.
No side bottom, no. Just missed out.
Adams, the next captain. Here we go, Trenty boy. This is for you, mate. A dozen colourway chrome soft golf balls. And the Tour towel there. You'll love that. The Travis Matthew caps. You get 4 of those, my friend. The Aquila shoes.
Oh, perfect.
Hang on, I'll just wait till the end of your cock. The Aquila shoes and clothing. You get a magnificent pair there of shoes. They are the best. Bar Fridge. You get a Bar Fridge, Trent. Bar Fridges Australia. Magnificent. They are. Look them up on the web. Rick's Eyewear, and you get 20% off if you use the code word Chompers.
Don't do
Platform
that,
28 or dinner for 2. Take out the dial there, mate. You'll love that. Mark O'Reilly there, and AMFX. You get your very own custom-made fire pit from our good friends at AMFX.
Yes.
All for you, Trent.
Good on you.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me.
Nice digs there. Are they yours, are they? Or surely they're your mums and dads?
What's that, sorry?
Your house.
What's that, sorry?
Digs.
Oh, yeah, mums and dads. I'm still at home, so yeah, pretty lucky at the moment.
Do you pay rent?
No, I don't actually. So
he's playing
keep it
for
on the down low. Where we'll keep that on the down low.
I think it's a bit late.
Playing senior football for Collingwood, not paying rent.
Do you charge your kids board?
No, 'cause I kicked them out because they didn't pay it. No, I didn't, by the way. But, mate, he's making good money. You've got to give mums...
Leave him alone. He's only a kid.
No, he's not. He's getting good money.
He's not. What are you on, Trent? No, don't worry.
Damo,
Uncle Damo didn't like that question. All right. Hey, Trent, thanks for joining us, mate. And we follow your career with great interest, and hopefully it's always at Collingwood.
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Trent Bianco joining us there. Damo.
He would have been in trouble if he answered it, Teach.
No,
It's on the public record.
I think he's smart enough not to answer
Yes.
that, Damian.
Was it?
Yeah.
Let's go around the table. What are you on, Kane? No, really, what are you on, Kane?
Kane is big on figures being public.
Yeah, I think they should be.
Well, what do you figures?
Well, it cuts out. I told everyone when I was playing what I was getting paid. I'm not sure it's as relevant now.
How much?
Oh, in the last couple of years, it was about $350, I think it was, Lordo, which I went on the record with, and I think it just cuts out all the speculation and those ridiculous top 50 lists in the Herald Sun that are so inaccurate.
I got 100 grand and got fined, I think, 56,000.
You were hobbling around though.
Oh, shut up, Lord.
All right, we're going to take a break on the Sunday Footy Show. More right after this.
Still to come, our panel go for gold as Brownie's quiz takes on an Olympic twist. With Trav Boak overtaking our man Kane's Port Adelaide Games record, Lloydie's deep dive looks at some of footy's other record breakers. Plus, Billy's list, Damo's agenda and Nathan's latest 60 Minutes expose as he reveals the dark side of one of our panel members.
I'll give you the last chance to bugger off.
You're watching the almighty, all-conquering Sunday Footy Show.
Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. It's time for everybody's favourite segment, Brownie's Quiz, brought to you by Sportsbet. $500 for the winner, playing for home viewers today. Let's get stuck straight into it. Bill, who are you playing for?
Julie Smith from Mount Eliza. Good on you, Jules.
And Brownie, I'm playing for Lindsay Savannah from Cheltenham in Victoria.
I'm playing for Jack Oliver from Horsham in Victoria.
I'm playing for Andrew Shell from Bellpost Hill in Victoria.
Geelong.
Yeah, Geelong.
And Mel Kylo from Door Park in SA.
All right, let's get up a current leaderboard because Lordo's been very, very good this year and he's on 5. Damo joined him last week, 4-3-2 down to TJ. But the best part of this is, and I don't know what the buzzers are bringing this week, so let's test our buzzers. Wrigley. Wrigley. Oh, is that me? That's a funny one. Yeah, let's go. Damo.
Triple M Harvey on no replay screen.
All right, next.
Red Lead's ending stats.
Ooh, what could this be?
Ugly.
Oh.
That's you.
No, that's you.
Ugly.
What happened to say arguably?
Oh, no,
you, Brownie.
Right. And
Did we
Kano, what are
test
you?
Kane?
Kano, what are you?
What should we go with today?
Sam Walsh?
Just butcher a word. Just butcher a word, Kane.
Okay, it's all about the Olympics, so let's get straight into it. Question number 1. Before joining Geelong, which player? Wrigley. I don't know who this is.
Mark Blitzars.
Okay, Mark Blitzars was a promising steeplechaser. He was, Bill. That is 1 point. And for a bonus point, Bill, there's another cat with an athletics background as a pole vaulter.
Red Lead's ending stats.
Andrew Buse and Jed Buse, his son.
Jed Buse is correct. 2 to Bill. Away to a flyer, William. Okay, famous faces.
Away.
To date, how many Olympic gold medals has Australia won?
Wrigley. 10.
That is correct, Bill. Famous faces.
Go.
Here we go.
Go,
Okay, and these are all Olympic champions.
Jess
Paddy
Fox.
Mills.
What a star.
Jess Fox?
Yeah. That was fantastic.
Bad luck, Bill.
Oh.
Oh, was I supposed to get that, was I?
Yeah.
Okay.
How could you give Jess Fox -3?
Yeah,
because I knew that somebody was going to pick Jess Fox, so you put the -3 behind
So you'd put the hero of the games
Yeah.
with a
They're all
skull
heroes.
and -3.
-1 to TJ.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, take a point off him.
Poor old Bill.
Famous faces. Question number 3. Who were the Australian Olympic team flag bearers in
Volcano.
Japan?
Red leads ending
I reckon
stats.
Volcano got in then.
Already did.
Well, one was Paddy Mills and the other swimmer was Campbell.
Which one?
Oh, which one? There's two of them.
I'll go with Kate.
Yes, well done, Kane. You got a point. Okay, Kane, who are you choosing?
girls.
You couldn't put a negative on Paddy Mills, so let's roll it. Let's roll
Paddy Mills
over.
in the middle. You can mute somebody for a...
TJ.
Yeah, that's fair enough too.
Why?
Okay, quick fire. These are the nicknames for the sides. I'm going to give you 4.
Okay, am I out for all 4 or?
You're out for the first one.
Right.
Okay. The Boomers.
Wrigley.
Basketball.
Yes, 1 to Bill. The Matildas.
Hockey.
Yeah, that was
TJ.
Yeah, our women's soccer team.
Yes. The...
Red leads ending stats.
Yeah, hockey.
Now, which men or women?
Yes, Lordo. Kookaburras.
No, which one? Men or women?
Hey, Lordo got it.
Well done.
Yeah, but what was it?
Hockey.
Yeah,
He got it. Kookaburras.
Right, men.
He got the answer. The answer is hockey. You want to lose another point?
No.
Yeah, okay. And the last one is the Dolphins.
Triple M Harvey or no perhaps replay.
Swimming, well done to Damo. Okay, famous faces. Question number 5. Which Aussie swimmer, after winning her gold medal, dropped the magic in interview?
Triple M Harvey or no perhaps replay. Triple M
McKeon.
Harvey or no
No, you got to say that
Red
name.
leads ending
What's her first
stats.
name?
Emma McKeon.
No.
No.
It's
Triple M Harvey or
McEwen.
no
It is. And the first name?
Kaylee McEwen.
Kaylee McEwen. That's a famous faces question, Damo.
Yeah, we're going to go with Ariane Titmus, please, Brownie.
Oh, what a star.
+2. That is very good. I've also got a bonus point for this one. For a bonus point, who had a Kaylee McEwen moment on the Sunday Footy Show in 2019?
Rowan Marshall.
He certainly did. Let's have a look at Big Rowan.
Oh, no.
Previously, we would have just gone away from.
So, no,
Thought it was pre-recorded, didn't he?
no, he just...
Yeah, okay. Question number 6.
It made his career after that.
Basil Zemplis is doing a fine job as well. The call of the Ariane Titmus 400-metre gold medal to become a legend, you have
Triple M Harvey or no
Have to
perhaps
beat a
replay.
legend.
That is correct, Damo. For a bonus point, do an impersonation of Titmus's coach, Dean Boxall, post-race.
Come on.
Bonus point out here, Damo. No, Damo. I'm going to take a point off him for that.
Take 2 points off him for that.
It's terrible.
Okay, famous faces question. Question number 7. Last Sunday, Billy impersonated Aussie swimmer Brendan Smith. Can anyone name the event that Brendan...
The individual medley.
He
400.
Did. 400, well done. And that is Bill. That was great, Bill.
How do you reckon that went?
Teach.
Ash.
Ash Barty, 2 points to TJ. Okay, we're up to question number 8. Let's have a look. Damo out on 5.
Yeah,
TJ 3. You're close. You're within striking distance.
Well, actually, if you should put... You took a point off me for being funny, but it's not
Question
funny.
number 8.
Funny.
Can you name the next 2 Olympic cities?
Wrigley.
Paris
Yep.
is 1, and then they're going to Madrid.
Nah. -1.
Los Angeles.
Why are you jumping in?
Because
Los
I'm
Angeles.
in trouble.
Damo got it. Los Angeles question. Point to
That's the
Damo.
way he was. isn't it?
Okay, this is famous faces question. Question number 9. Aussie rules football was an exhibition.
1956.
Yes.
It was. We got a bit of overlay. That exhibition
Who
game.
played? Who played in this game?
Lindsay Gaze?
No, who was the teams?
Oh, Australia versus someone.
Oh, someone, right.
TJ.
Wasn't.
So that was also a famous faces question, Teach.
Points are out.
Go Kyle Chalmers.
How come there's 2 lots of 2?
-2, TJ. Bad luck.
How come there's
Bad.
2 lots of 2 points?
Okay, who am I? For 5 points, I'm an Olympic champion from Sydney.
Red leads ending stats.
Good guess.
-1. For 4 points, I share a last name with an Australian singer.
Volcano.
Volcano.
I'll just go Ian Thorpe.
Yes, certainly was. For 4 points, has Kane come from the clouds? No. Damo, who won? Who did you win for? $500.
Lindsay Savannah from Cheltenham in Victoria.
$500 coming your way, Lindsay, thanks to Sportsbet. Here is how to enter www.os.9.com// not sure which way it is, / I believe, Brownie's quiz.
3 in a row.
3 in a row for Damo. He is on song at the moment.
All right, that wraps it up for the quiz. Nathan will be back a little later on. This is where he peters off now for about an hour, and he'll come back with Fright Night, his investigative report into the occasions where several AFL coaches do want to belt the living suitcase out of Damian. But anyway, look forward to that later in the program. Not the violence, but the report. We're going to take a break. When we come back, something for Geelong fans and plenty for North Melbourne fans to look forward to as well. Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. Geelong got the job done yesterday, but North Melbourne fans, I tell you what, the future looking pretty good down at Arden Street, I would have thought. And one man who will be joining us very, very shortly is, of course, Shaun Higgins, who chalked up game number 250. We'll talk to Shaun in just a tick, but tell us about the game first up.
Well, it was down in Hobart. The Cats flew in, flew out, of course, and went down there. They had a win, 20 points. Wasn't a great game of footy to watch. We'll ask Shaun when he comes on about the conditions there. Gary Rowan, a couple. Cam Guthrie kicked 2. He doesn't kick a lot of goals. He also had 29, but his brother was outstanding. Zach Guthrie, who came into the side late. And North started pretty well. They were very, very competitive, as they have been for the last 8 weeks, and made it hard for the Cats there starting well. And Shaun Higgins joins us. Higgo, welcome. Give us a rundown of the game, mate, and the conditions over there in Hobart.
And good morning.
And good morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was going to be a difficult task, one to head down to Tassie in what are sometimes trying circumstances with the wind. It started off okay, actually, Bill, in terms of the conditions. Yep. Probably the second half, it got a little bit blustery going to the right of screen there, but North have been really good the last month, and we knew they were going to get their best. They're a dangerous side, particularly off half back, but I thought we controlled most of the game. The numbers looked pretty good for us. We didn't convert as accurately as we would have liked, which probably would have seen a bigger margin, but in the end, we're pleased we take the 4 points and we move on.
Shaun, sometimes when you join a new club, you see just how good someone is, and I think Cameron Guthrie, I just want your experience of playing with him. I know he's the best and fairest winner already at the club, but your appreciation of him now, he's a teammate of yours.
Yeah, great teammate, Lloydie. He sort of goes under the radar a little bit. He's quiet and goes about his business in his own fashion, but the one thing that stood out for me this year is just how consistent he's been. Every time that he's played, he seems to get the job done, and one thing that he's been able to do this year, and we saw yesterday, went forward and kicked a couple of goals, and the great midfielders in the competition at the moment do go forward and kick a goal. He was All-Australian and best and fairest winner last year, and I think he's been just as good this year.
And Shaun, to Lotto's point, when you join a club, sometimes you understand how good someone is. The same goes with Tom Stewart.
Oh.
Where does he rank in terms of the best defenders you've played with?
Yeah, well, he's right up there. I think he's clearly the best intercept defender that I've played with. I've been fortunate to play with some really good key backs, and I think Stu probably gives a little bit of both. He can play on guys bigger than him, but I think he's at his best when we're seeing these highlights, and we've been able to see this for the last 3 or 4 years. His intercept work, the way that he's been able to set up and read the game across half back, he's been unbelievable for us this year. Clearly in the All-Australian side, but I think he's in discussion for the best defenders in the comp.
Hey, Higgo, we've spoken about Cam Guthrie. Let's talk about Zach Guthrie, because he came in for Atkins. Did the late change force a different style of role? Because I thought he had a breakout game, the best of his career. He took 13 marks.
Yeah, he was noticeable, Brownie, during the game, particularly across the middle in that early part of the game. With a little bit of wind, he seemed to be cutting off everything in the air and then setting us up. The role, not really. I think it was just the way you summed it up pretty well. It's one of the best games I've seen Guth play, particularly, like we said, in the air. And hopefully he gets a lot of confidence in that. He's had the difficult scenario week in and week out of either being sub or carryover emergency. Got his opportunity yesterday and he took it with both hands.
Shaun, it's been a journey and you've packed a fair bit in. 2005, a high-end pick for the Bulldogs. You took in a stint at North Melbourne and then get to game 250 against North Melbourne. You've jammed a bit in, mate.
Yeah, well, there's always a different journey for each player when you've been around for a little bit. I've been fortunate to be at 3 great footy clubs and still being given the opportunity to do what I love now. A bit of a rough trot early on with injuries, but I've had some great people around me, the clubs that I mentioned, some players and some people off field that have helped me, and just grateful that I'm still going around, Damo, doing what I enjoy.
Shaun, it's I mean, it is a sign of the times, of course, but it's actually unusual when you look at footage like that and there's crowds in the stand. Does it give you a lift when you actually run out and there are people there? What?
Yeah, I think even watching games, DJ, that there is something added when there's crowds, and guys have been and teams have been great to adapt the last 2 years of playing in front of no crowds, which is crazy to think of 3 or 4 years ago that we'd be in that situation. I think footy's better for having crowds. We understand the circumstances don't always present with crowds, but it is, from a player's point of view, it's enjoyable to get out and play a game in front of some atmosphere.
Yeah, thanks, Sean.
Good to see the crowd there.
Good answer to a good question and a relevant question.
Yeah, it was good, the crowd. 10,000 sold out there in Hobart. Very good question, well done. Let's have a look at the votes here. We're 6.5 minutes late. Here we go, the Guthries are outstanding. Zach, well done to you. Best game he's played for the Cats. Cameron just continues on. Aaron Hall, very good from the half-back flank. And Tom Stewart there. And Higo, of course, who played his 250th with 23 touches. How are the Twins, mate? All good at home? Everything okay? You been down packing in the street for a coffee?
Yes, mate. All going well. I'm just locked myself in the dungeon. The Twins are upstairs, so I'll have to get back to duties shortly.
OK, we'll leave you to it. Good on you, Sean, and congratulations again on the milestone, 250 games across 3 clubs and having given great service to each and every one of those clubs. Talk to you soon. Sean Higgins joining us there from the Geelong Footy Club, and of course, Lou's prize pack will head on down the highway, maybe in the back of your ute.
Yes.
Maybe in the back of your ute.
Thanks,
All
mate.
right,
Cheers.
Well, thank you.
Good to see the crowds, wasn't it?
Oh, let's talk about frothies, will we? Let's talk about frothies, shall we? Hey, let's talk about me and Barry skating, heading into the disco and sending Buddha to go to the bar. How about we do that? Let's spend the next half hour talking about frothies, shall we?
Hitch read the news.
Seriously.
Anyway, Hitch, well, good one, Tony.
We'll take a break on the Sunday Footy Show. More in just a moment. Oh, frothies. Yeah, Lordo's Sunday Deep Dive brought to you from Jazz and Alan, the team there at Unique Wrought Iron, where thousands of Aussies go each and every day, each and every week, all through the year to improve their homes. And of course, the doors are back open now. We're out of lockdown, and not that they ever stopped doing business. They did it all online, but now you can actually go and have a look in person.
TJ, it's all about record breaking today because Travis Boak breaks the all-time Port Adelaide record held by Kane Corns, currently equal on 300 games.
Why do that to Kane?
Because he's got to deal with it. I had to deal with it when Buddy took over my goal kicking, and it's hard. You just got to accept it, Kane. So he becomes the game.
Well, how does Kane feel about it?
Kane, how are you feeling about it?
No, I'm okay. To your point, Lordo, he's always been on the cards for a while. He's got a lot of footy left in him, and he's been a champion of the footy club. So hopefully they get up for him today.
Yeah, okay. Don't overdo it.
Okay. So what we're going to look at is great record moments in football, but also Brownie's got one from another sport. So I want to go back to 1995, and this was Tony Lockett. Would you believe he kicked his 100th and then he kicked his 1,000th in the same game? So here's his 100th goal. So he's playing the Dockers, and the Dockers are going to wear this jumper today in retro round. So he kicks his 100th, the crowd run out, and on the same day he kicks his 1,000th goal and they run back out again. So what a freakish player he was. So that's 100. This is 1,000. So poor Stephen O'Reilly, Bill, was under the pump there.
Remember when they recreated it for the ad? Toyota, was it? You know, the 2 guys that Stephen...
Yeah. Yes. I haven't seen that.
Auto segment.
Yeah. Anyway, so that is that. The goal umpire gets tripped over by fans running out. So he was an absolute freak. And then 4 years later, he broke the all-time record for goals. Here's Tony Lockett playing on Mel Michael. I'll never forget the day watching this and wanting to see him break the record.
Kick, was it? The wobbly.
Round 10, 1999. He kicks his 13th, 100th goal to go past the all-time record by Gordon.
Whole segment about Tony Lockett.
No, good. That was Gordon Coventry. Yeah, the record he broke. Over to you, Damo.
Isn't TJ next up?
TJ, sorry.
OK, well, we're going to go to round 17 of 1994, I believe. And this was one of the more emotive moments for the West. It was the day that Dougie Hawkins broke the great E.J. Witten's record. Now, E.J. had chalked up 321 games, and Dougie, who, of course, an icon of his time at the Witten Oval, Western Oval, and still is an icon in the West. There it is there when he embraced Teddy, and even though Teddy might have been battling a little bit at that particular time, look at the energy that he mustered, and then gave him the flick pass there, and it became Dougie's day again. So well done to Dougie Hawkins. A beautiful moment there with the late E.J.
He'd be watching too, Doug, sitting up there at Bacchus Marsh having a cup of tea.
Games record was Michael Tuck's with 426 until Brent Harvey reached that point and then went past it in round 19 of that particular season. Boomer ended up tallying 432 games, which is the new AFL record for games played. But he went out strongly. His numbers in his last season and his last games were as good as at any stage of his career, and he wanted to go around again, Lordo, but ended up having to call it quits at the end of that particular year. Game 432 being the final one for the great Boomer Harvey.
Probably could have kept going too, the way Boomer was travelling. He still looks as fit as anything. 1998, Jim Steins broke a record. That was 244 consecutive games he played, which was a record. This was round 17, 1987 in round 4. What a player he was. So tough. The way he transformed the way the ruck was played, Bill. Yeah. What an athlete he was.
Wasn't he?
Obviously so durable, what he played with.
No.
I was at the MCG Boxing Day 2006. Shane Warne, our greatest ever leg spinner, 700 wickets. Have a look at that, just the outside Trescott thing. It came back and...
Wasn't Trescott,
wasn't it?
Strauss.
Strauss. But he got a lot of wickets against England, TJ, and I loved this day. I loved it. I was there. It was a great day.
But you couldn't remember the batsman.
He got so many of them, TJ.
700
he was just 700 of them.
Warney will be watching.
Warney will be watching.
Warney will be watching.
Beautifully flighted. But you would have gone back and gone bang, wouldn't you?
No, just come forward.
Hey, what about 1992 here? A world record score. World record score up at Metricon. And nowadays, what was it called back in the day? Carrara, exactly. The Cats kicked 37 goals, 17, 239.
And Bill?
Wait for it, because it was all locked up with Fitzroy. They'd kicked 238 points before. And this is on the siren to get the world record score. Well done, Anthony William Brownlee.
Did you have a few frothies?
I did. 37, 17, 239. 7 goals in the first quarter, 9 in the second, 7 in the third, 14 in the last.
And you only kicked, I think, 2.
Damian, I played at centre-half back.
Out of 37.
I played at centre-half back.
37?
I kicked 2 and I played at centre-half back, Damian.
You had 3 kicks.
When did you play at centre-half back?
Good contribution, Bill, to that record.
Damo's kicked 10 before in a game, so he knows where the goals are. Don't worry about that. Let's go back to 1990, and the record for the brothers that have played in any one game is 4, of course, for Essendon, Anthony, Terry, Neil, and Chris running through the banner there. So there's never been 4 brothers play. That was a record, round 22, 1990 versus St Kilda at Moorabbin, and what a legacy that family continues to leave.
When it's your segment, you can do what you want. So this was the day Lordo broke the all-time Essendon record. So Simon Madden had the record. It was 5 of the Bulldogs. It was 575 goals. This is Lordo's 576. And what's the crowd? You see, what's the crowd, Bill?
I haven't seen them.
Tell me who's there.
Who's there?
There's Damian Cupido saying well done.
Look at Lordo looking at the scoreboard.
Watching, there's Simon, realising the record's been broken, and then Fletch broke the next record of his game.
Who's there?
You'll see, it's coming. Whoa. It's coming.
Are we seeing the whole game?
No, there's Kyle's. There's Kyle's mum, Lisa, and my mother-in-law Mary. So
how good!
That was a great day, TJ.
I'm just looking at Kylie's face. She's thinking, God, I wish I was somewhere else rather than sitting here watching. Do a little bit Matthew.
Speaking of something else, TJ,
Matthew.
how happy does Mick Malthouse look in this next piece of vision you're about to throw to?
Well, look, Mick didn't wear a smile on a 24/7 basis, but he would have to have on this occasion, because this was the night that he broke Jock McHale's record as he walks out with some of his grandchildren there. And look, history means a lot to Mick. We know that, whether he was in a Footscray top, or West Coast Collingwood, or a Carlton top. Oh, that was genuine. Knowing what we know now. But so there was Mick getting the record there, beating Jock McHale's record of 714 games. And,
well done, Mick.
And it was genuine, of course, from Nathan there.
Well done, Mick.
Any more records left to go? Will Buddy kick the 1,000 for the last time?
No, not this year.
Not this year.
I wouldn't rule him out, Bill. I would not rule him out. A little bonus by not being...
Give me a ruler.
I reckon he's got some theatre about him.
And I reckon, TJ, the way players are playing longer into their careers and into their 30s, I think the games record may get done.
The games record?
I think the way players are playing, I'm not sure what Kano thinks on this, but they're playing well into their 30s, more than I've ever seen before.
Burgoyne's not going to get there, wouldn't have thought.
I know Mundy's just signed for another year, but we're just going to see if someone can break it.
Oh, it's a lot of games.
What did you say? Go, bro.
Hot music?
Yes.
No. Well, you just woke up, did you, from that?
You're talking and he goes, go to a break, go to a break. We're doing just, I know why we want to go to a break, because after the break, it is our own George Negus.
Damo.
Yeah, Fright Night. That's coming. That's coming up right after this break. Go to a break. Go to a break.
Oh, here we go.
I've worked with Damian Barrett for over a decade. I consider him a friend, but every time somebody asks me about Barrett, it is, why does he punch on with AFL coaches so much? It does. He have a dark side. So I thought, being a mate, I needed to have an investigation into how black his soul really is. To understand a nerd like Damian Barrett, you've got to become a nerd. So I've come here to the State Library of Victoria to tell you about his dark side. It was at the Brownlow Medal in 2015 when Barrett's true character reared its frightening, bespectacled head. On the red carpet, players and partners were in hot demand for interviews with TJ and the waiting media. It was the Stars' time to shine, and just like every year, Barrett was left in the shade. Those who were there say this was the turning point. He'd recently purchased a muscle car and had begun hanging out with Tigers hard man Jake King. But this was an escalation. This time, a switch inside Barrett had flicked. For their own safety and out of respect to rival network TV contracts, we're protecting witnesses' identities.
There's people in this game who are genuine doyens of the game, and they shouldn't be made to feel like they can't go to any AFL function without, fearing for their safety. I haven't been able to go to any football function. It's affected me quite deeply.
As Matt Prittis narrowed the gap to Nat Fyfe, Barrett broke Brownlow night protocol, leaving his seat, storming out toward the bathroom. Fearing the worst, Bernie followed. What he witnessed changed him forever.
I just washed my hands and I turned around, and the first thing that came to mind was that little cartoon character, the Tassie Devil, just this spinning thrashing machine. There were fists and elbows flying everywhere. I mean, it was really violent, and it was, I'd have hated to be standing in front of that.
I couldn't let it go. There had to be more victims out there. What would motivate such senselessness? Was it being beaten to a story, or perhaps the most likely reason, stolen identity? The list of potential victims is endless. So I started making some calls to friends, colleagues, enemies. No one was prepared to say anything. Until I managed to lure this whistleblower out from his cave.
Yeah, mate, it was pretty awkward, to be honest. It was almost embarrassing. And you just made this huge scene out of nowhere.
Halloween in New York, Chris and Brad Scott in costume and in the spirit. We're at a Manhattan sports bar, regaling each other with memories of the time they roughed up Nick Riewoldt. They were enjoying a break from the glare of footy media when, by spooky coincidence, a blast from the past, dressed as his favourite boy wizard, walked in and unleashed his own goblet of fire.
They're just sitting there minding their own business. Two guys in a banana costume for Halloween. And then this Harry Potter guy came up to him and just made this huge scene. It's just ridiculous. I don't know why or what he had against him or whatever it was. I've got no idea who the guy is. Never in my life seen him before. But, I worry about people like that, and I hope they're okay in the end.
Was it a spooky Halloween coincidence or something more sinister? What we do know for sure is that the Scott brothers never stood a chance. Damian Barrett, there's reports that you have real issues with AFL coaches.
They're reports that have been made up by you over the journey, Nathan, and I've probably had enough of it, to be honest with you.
Do you need to give an apology to Luke, to Chris, to Justin?
I might have to give an apology for what I'm about to do to you if you don't get out of my face. You know how to speak to me,
There's no
Brownie.
need to get aggressive, Damo. This is the issue.
You want to speak to me on camera? Go through.
You've got aggression issues.
Manager, who I think is
I'm going to give you one last chance to apologise. Will you apologise? And so concludes our investigation into Barrett's dark side. And with all good stories, it comes with a life lesson. Don't judge a book by its cover, and nothing good happens in the bathroom at the Brownlow Medal.
That is outstanding work.
What are you going to say about that, Barrett? Carl looked all right, didn't it?
Yeah, and of course we don't condone hoon driving.
What about Chris and Brad Scott watching that?
And it was Jason.
That was, I can't tell you.
What about Bernie?
Bernie, he
sounded
was
like a hard
five-time.
Man. Yeah, five-time.
Five-time.
Jason did sound like a Collingwood big man.
Yeah,
with
an American one.
Yeah.
There's been a few of them.
Yeah.
But I think, it was Jason.
That was good of him to join in the fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. And well put together by our people upstairs.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know their names?
Yep. Matty Conway. And a lot of others.
Oh.
And Dan, who of course played the part of Damian, and not a lot of people were putting their hand up to do that. No, well done.
Yeah, that wasn't me in that. Yeah.
Kane, what would you give that out of 10, mate?
Oh, 10. I love it when Brownie goes to those areas, magnificent. I don't think there's another one coming. I hope there's not. But
Damo, there's definitely one more in the pipeline, Kane.
Do you refute anything that was in that investigation? Is the question I'd put to you, or is it all accurate?
No, it's a figment of Nathan Brown's imagination that I have fights with everyone that I come across.
Was there an incident in a bar in New York with the Scott brothers?
Craig Hutchison has perpetuated that myth, Brownie.
What about Luke Beveridge?
We were in a bar together once, yes.
Luke Beveridge.
There was a little moment there as well.
There's
a moment there as well.
Okay, well, we look forward to the next instalment of Nathan Brown and his investigative journalism. And, Kane, you probably shouldn't need to look forward to it. But anyway, we'll take a break. More on the Sunday Footy Show right after this.
Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday. Let's take a look at the game down in Ballarat yesterday. It was a windy one. The Western Bulldogs just needed to do what they did, and it was a pretty impressive performance in tough conditions. Caleb, Daniel, McRae and Dale had plenty of it. Crows started well. They kicked 3 goals in the first quarter. They had the use of the breeze. That was going to the right of screen there, which made scoring a little bit easier. But the Western Bulldogs are just methodical, and I thought the most impressive thing out of the performance, it was Marcus Bontempelli's quietest game for the year, just 6 kicks for him. And Aaron Norton had 5 touches. We're seeing a bit of Ugal Hagen magic here. He kicked a couple and they shared it around. I thought it was a very good team performance from the Dogs. As I said, did what they needed to do. Jason Johannesson kicked a couple and was good. So out of it, well, they just get the win and move on, and Adelaide are about where we knew they were.
Kane, when you say the Bont only 6 possessions, it just doesn't seem possible.
6 kicks, TJ, 15 disposals, yep.
Oh, okay, well that makes it different then. Was he well held, or what was the...
They didn't put any real sort of one-on-one tag into him. I just think he just sensed the moment. It wasn't his turn. You see him there do a bit of brilliance and kick a goal, but that was sort of really the only highlight for him. It was some of the less lights for the Dogs, which we'll get to in the votes, because Bailey Dale, he's played a career best year. I think he's one of the most improved players, if not the most in the game. Caleb Daniel's a star. Bailey Smith's putting together a very good another season for him, and McRae had 19 contested disposals.
Good work, Kane. Lordo, remember at the start of the show when we said we played the trick on Nathan about how Kane was going to host next week? Did you feel the tension when Kane picked it up out of the break there and Nathan just dropped his head, started texting someone?
Yeah. I was checking crypto. Over to you, Bill.
Thank you, Nate. Beautiful throw, my friend. And the top 5 of the list this week is the top 5 celebrations. I reckon we've done this before, but we'll go again. We didn't have a lot to do in the office. And number 5 is the barometer, of course. Reece Matheson there with a shotgun. Wasn't a bad celebration, that. And Joel, I don't know if he liked it. That's come back to haunt him, of course, when the Cats belled him. And Joel's saying, where's the shotgun now, big fella? What about this? This is Sheldon Cottrell. He does the salute. That is a good one. He loves that. And also this play, look at this. Ali, he does the big, and then he hurts his shoulder. Have a look at that, or his neck. He can't bowl anymore. He's got to go off. Number 3, Usain Bolt. Always be wary of the man on the Segway. He nearly crashed. He's a superstar, Usain Bolt, and have a look at old Knackers. Oh no, what are you doing, mate? Oh, that could have ended in disaster. He got up and he was okay, Usain Bolt. Number 2, Nathan Thompson. Have a look at Big Tomo here. Very happy with himself, and he kicks his goal from 50, goes bang, and wait for it. It's just not the one cobber, it's a double cobber, if you don't mind. How good was that? Well done, Nate. And our favourite, is Harry T. Big Harry kicked 17 goals last week over in Perth. But have a look at this. The Cats win. They beat the Hawks. And look at Harry. He just goes. He gets into the high knee lift. Wait for it. Here it goes here. Gets into the... and he's running towards the cheer squad. There they are. Harry, they're down that end. You're going the wrong way, my friend. And then he goes, actually, what am I doing? What am I doing here? And that was a great Harry. There we are. Quick one today. We're running short. Back to you, Tony.
OK. Good work, Bill. We could work on a new number one next time we run it, maybe.
Oh.
Bill, will you get out of my camera shot?
Hi.
The robots, Bill.
The robots, so they don't move. Try and make it move, Tone. Oh, it does move.
Oh, it does move.
Well done, robot.
There you go. All right, we'll take a break. You are watching... Billy, get out of my shot.
Well, no, quick, cut. Ad.
We'll throw to the break.
We're going to the ad.
We're going to the ad.
Mediation session held at the Hawthorn Football Club. During that meeting, it became clear that Sam Mitchell would rather have clean air to have a fresh start next year without Alistair Clarkson by his side. If Jeff Kennett had his way, Sam Mitchell would be the senior coach of the Hawthorn Football Club next year.
That is absolutely incorrect. I've never said that. I've consistently said I want Alistair there.
Caro, you don't think... You've always said Clarko won't be there next year? Is that
I don't believe he'll be
And
there
Hutchie, you
next
don't
year.
believe he'll be there next year either?
I kind of get a bit pissed off with people saying that. The fact that people would say that I'm trying to push him out is disrespectful to both of us. The only people that are saying it's not going to work out like that are people with a genuine lack of knowledge who say they're speaking to people at the club.
Sam should be very careful about what he says about his premiership coach.
You don't get to issue warnings after he comes out and tells the truth.
But the bottom line is, tonight, as we sit here, the president of the Hawthorn Football Club assures me that he and Alistair Clarkson are as one.
Once I was no longer going to be the coach of the Hawthorn Football Club at the end of next year, the sceptics were saying, oh, well, he'll move straight away. No, that's the in sickness or in health for me.
Alistair Clarkson's golden reign will end in 4 weeks, paving the way for Sam Mitchell to seize control.
So now I've got 12 months to work out what the second half of my life is going to look like. We'll see where it takes us.
Well, it was extraordinary, wasn't it? 7 days in particular, probably 3 weeks all up. And Caroline Wilson, as I said on the news on Friday night, has been ridiculed from pillar to post for her reporting on this. And she stood firm throughout the whole... And
did not
I tell you,
yet.
and I think there are a number of people already apologising to her. And I think social media deserves to apologise because... I mean, some of the stuff that they've written about Caro over this has been nothing short of vile.
They're not going to apologise.
Of course they won't.
Every single person out there thinks that they are in the media and as a journalist, and Caro has proven that she knows more than every single other person out there who's having an opinion and an attempt at news around this story.
Kane, do you want to apologise?
Well, yeah, I thought he'd be there. I just went with Clarko's word. I wasn't critical of Caro. I believe what she was saying, but I did question the people that were saying Alistair Clarkson couldn't be there, including Hutchie on Monday night on Footy Classified. So absolutely, I was wrong on that. I took Clarko at his word, and I was wrong to do that.
I think
we did. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think you're angling that towards Kane.
Well, it was half tongue in cheek.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Just play along with it.
No, because I was 100% thought up until that press conference he couldn't coach the club. That for me said, okay, he's going to coach.
It's just proof.
He couldn't coach the club.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I thought up until that presser, there's no way he could coach that club until he came out 7 days ago.
The people in positions like Alistair Clarkson, and let's put him straight into this conversation, will say what they feel they have to say at a given point in time. And that suited him 2 Fridays ago. It suited him during the week to move out.
All right, and Kane, Jeff Kennett, I mean, Damo took him to task earlier in the program. His role in all this?
Well, pretty ordinary, is it? I'm not going to say anything that everyone else hasn't said, and what Damo said was about as in-depth as you've seen. It's been an embarrassing situation for the club, and just where they're at now is what I look to. So you've got a coach who's probably not ready. From their own admission, he's 18 months away. You've got a list that is in all sorts of trouble because they've traded all away their picks, and you've got a $900,000 hole in your soft cap. I just can't get around the fact that they're putting Sam Mitchell, they're setting him up to fail.
Kane, we learnt yesterday that with Queensland being into sudden lockdown, that there were 3 matches that were moved out of yesterday, or out of round 20 to different venues. And we just have a quick look at the round 21 fixture here. As we said before, that Geelong GWS scheduling, which is the GMHBA Stadium.
When?
I believe, Bill, well, this is fact, it's been considered for that to be moved into the Friday night slot. Now, as it stands, it's Western Bulldogs versus Essendon, which is a compelling enough game itself, but the 5-day break component for the Essendon team, out of having to play today and not yesterday as was scheduled, may make that impossible to be played in that Friday night slot. So Geelong GWS potentially the Friday night kick-off to round 21.
So Damo, just on that though, the Giants play today.
Yeah.
So have they not played it?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's 5 days, Damo.
Yeah, so I just wonder whether that could be an issue for the Giants as well. Yeah.
They may not have had one though prior to this week. So the Essendon team has already had one 5-day break already. So maybe that may be the reason, Lauder, but they certainly are mooting that possibility. Kane, Oscar Allen, an extraordinary talent when it comes to his form at West Coast Eagles. What's happening to him? Was again quiet yesterday. Are they using him the right way?
Oh, I think they've really derailed his season in a way. He kicked 16 goals from the first 5 rounds, and we remember saying, well, this is the next $1 million man in the competition. And since then, they've had to plug holes with him. So you can see him in the ruck there. He's been back when McGovern's been out, and it really has sort of interrupted the progress that he had forward. And now he's playing like a player that's got no confidence. So most of his form troubles, I think, lie with the club and the way they've managed him. Considering Kennedy, we don't even know if he's going to play next year. He's their one major asset moving forward, and they have misused him this year.
Good on you, Kane. Thanks, Damo. Of course, you might talk about Charlie Curnow in the next segment.
yeah.
Hey, before we go to a break, a bit of a Sunday Footy Show shout-out.
Yeah, to a young man called Cade Watts. He's doing it pretty tough at the moment. He's got bone cancer, going through chemotherapy. His old man, Jason Watts, a former Western Bulldogs Footscray player, and his whole family, Jason, Anita, Ashton and Miller, doing it hard with him, but he's got a lot of spirit, the young man. Bone cancer, chemotherapy. We don't wish that upon anybody, and we hope that you have a speedy recovery, Cade.
Absolutely. We're all behind you, Cade, in your fight, mate. So thank you very much, Nathan. And Cade, we certainly follow your journey with much interest, because we know at the end of the day, mate, you're going to win. All right, we'll take a break. You are watching the Sunday Footy Show. Welcome back. You're watching the Sunday Footy Show, and Carlton supporters on Friday night were watching the Blues in action, and weren't they in action?
They were. 18 goals, 4 is a record for the Blues, 5 to Harry Mackay. Sam Walsh again, 3 goals to go with his 26. Cripper was in there as well. Jack Steele could hold his head up, but their top 4 ball winners had 122 disposals between them, but not a lot came. But King was on fire early. He kicked 4 goals, but I thought Wiedering changed his game and did a really good job after that. Memory got 3, but the Blues won, and it was all about one man, Charlie Curnow, coming back, and it was good to see him. He banged a goal through for the first quarter here, and look, he had 75% game time. He didn't do a lot, but I don't think people expected him to do a lot. It's more game time in the legs at the moment for Charlie Curnow. He looked a little bit unassured, I guess. I think he'll start to fly for a few more of his marks, but good to see him back.
It's just amazing he got through, Brownie, wasn't it? Given what he's been through, more than 2 years on the sidelines, and given he kicked 10 goals in the previous 2 matches before he went down back in 2019, just to get through was a
good spine, Carlton. They've got a great spine. If they can get everything right defensively, I think they're a pretty good side. Let's have a look at the votes from the other night. Sam Walsh, I gave him best on ground again. Silvani went into the ruck and did an enormous job. Harry Mackay, and Paddy Dow continues to get better.
All right, time now for, you ready, Kane? I know they're all talking about this in South Australia. It is Billy's Fun Nature Fact. What have you got for us today, William?
Here it is here for the kiddies and everyone else, the mums, the dads, everyone. Have a look at this. And we love the pandas, the naughty pandas a couple of weeks ago. But have a look at this one. He's got to jump on the swings. Come on, panda. Come on, panda. You can do it. You ready? You got to jump from there. Oh!
Silly panda.
What a silly panda. Honestly, can we play that again? Because it's
can
funny.
we play that again?
Because it looks like a bloke in a panda suit, doesn't it? It does. Have a look at him.
Which bloke would it be?
Well, a little fella, but have a look. Look, he's just got to jump onto that bag. He doesn't get anywhere. And Tony, this one's for you because everyone sent it to us during the week. I reckon we all got it. And if you're a fish, Everyone said it.
Big
is.
choppers.
Have a look at that.
Big weight choppers.
Actually, it's called, I've got it here, it's called something. It's called a
something, Lordo?
sheep's head.
Lordo's got something.
No, I'm just saying that it's just been brought to our attention that it's a 5-year anniversary of something in particular, and we're going to celebrate that before the show is out.
Are we? 5 years?
All I'm saying is 5 years to the day that something significant happened in television.
With me?
I've never seen someone so awkward.
Oh, the kiss!
I'm not saying that, but...
Are you going to play it?
It's banned.
It's banned. Are you going to play it?
You got anything to do with this, Kane?
Nothing, Tony. I don't know what he's talking about.
Come on, Lordo, you can't play it. It's been banned.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll have a little chat. Back with
Lordo.
more in just a moment. Not time for the curtain just yet on this edition of the Sunday Footy Show. Kane, give us a make easy mosh moment.
Well, we're absolutely comparing two of the greats today, TJ. Two all-time greats of the game as we get the little silhouette up here, and both have played 300 games. Both have averaged 23 disposals. Look, one's got more goals than the other, but the other one makes up for it with more finals performances. So as we reveal it, good luck to Travis Boak today, breaking the record. And just notice me on the left there, that's pre-mosh. And now look at me with my... Look how thick my hair is now, Bill.
Beautiful. You do look a lot better. You look good.
Yeah, it's
You
working.
look alive today.
Making it easy. It's just working.
All righty, good work, Kane. There's 5 matches on offer today. Take us through them.
Yeah, Melbourne up against Gold Coast first. Gold Coast have been playing pretty good football, but you'd expect Melbourne to get the job done at Marvel.
5 matches and also 5 years since a big event happened too. So
I like that.
The other one is in Tasmania. Hawthorn play the Brisbane Lions. I think Brisbane make a statement and win big.
Essendon is now playing Sydney at the MCG. I'm still sticking with the Swans in that one, and Buddy to kick a bag.
Well, Fremantle to play Richmond over there in Perth. Richmond to win. Too many injuries, Fremantle.
Put out they were lucky, Bill. They didn't have to go anywhere. They waited, and now the game's going to be played to where they were, Marvel Stadium. So they'll play tonight, fly home tomorrow against the Giants.
Okay, from AFL to NRL, this is great because they've had to rechange their schedule, of course. On Gem at 4 o'clock today, it's Melbourne Storm up against the Penrith Panthers, a grand final rematch there.
Now, if you're thinking of playing what I think you're playing, the last time he did that, he walked out and he cracked it.
No, what are you talking about? What's the anniversary?
Don't do it. What is the anniversary, Lord?
I wouldn't do it. 5 years since that famous moment on television that has brought so much joy. I know the kiss. Where he stepped in, he was meant to have flowers, he didn't have them, so then he decides to plant one.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, no.
Don't even think about it.
Are you serious?
Look at Hitch. Look at Hitch.
No, seriously. Who did that? Stop it. Take it off. That is ridiculous.
I didn't think that actually played.
Oh, didn't you? What happened last time? You're a bloody idiot.
See you next week on the Sunday Footy Show.
Take your time. Take your time with you. Take your time.